Hey everybody, just wanted to do a little test run of the Subjective Perspective show here at the Museum of Art and History in Santa Cruz, California. Right now we're at the pregame for the show, and it's going to be a really nice evening tonight, everybody. We have a lot of great filmmakers in the building, and we're honored to be part of this. So we actually have a nice setup here where we have a couple cameras set up from the Subjective Perspective show studio, the Living Life studio, as well as a nice setup of banners behind us, and we have a video. So you're going to also be able to catch this on video as I'm speaking. Well, actually, not this part because we're not videotaping this part, but this will be the intro to that aspect. Ladies and gentlemen, be back. Going to have some great interviews this evening. September 26, 2015. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Subjective Perspective show with a very, very interesting evening tonight with some of the greatest filmmakers coming out of Santa Cruz, California. With me, I have a gentleman who was kind enough to take the seat, and his name's Peter, and I want to pass our microphone, our smart device, which I know you all know that we use this. We've used it for the Ron Jeremy interviews, so they work really nice. And I want to pass this over to Peter. And Peter, if you could, sir. And now, just so you know, the video cameras are picking us up, so that's cool. So you have a nice angle there, a nice angle here. But the audio is really what's going to get your voice. So feel free to, as close as you want, as far as you want, wherever's comfortable, okay? But it picks you up even from a distance. Fine, sir. Please, who are you and what's your name?
My name's Peter Carter. I'm not a filmmaker. I've actually never seen a film, but I'm aware of the concept. Theaters, people looking at images, talking, sometimes there's CGI.
So what brought you to this event tonight then? Filmmaking is something that is really interesting. What brought you to this event specifically?
I am an ex-employee of Imagine. I really appreciate kind of the community they foster here. I recently left the area, moved up to Sacramento, but I've got real close relationships with a lot of the consumers here, a lot of the staff, and just wanted to come back because I really appreciate, what they do with these events and the sense of community that they foster.
That's awesome, Peter. I think about what brings people together at Imagine. And I think of the good people that we are surrounded by. Now, you've been at Sacramento for... How long have you been up at Sacramento for?
A month.
Now, with your time here, what are you looking forward to tonight, Pete?
The $5 wine glass.
The $5 wine glass is a good price for some wine. And we have a huge turnout of people tonight. And I know our cameras can't look at it right now, but in post-production, we're going to show some of our audience that's out there. And I want to say, Peter, for now, is there anything that you'd like to let our audience know about you and about anything that you're doing in life right now at this point?
I'm not sure how to phrase this, but I think it's really important for anyone with any kind of, not agenda, but inclination politically, to really let the state legislature know how much organizations like Imagine are vastly, vastly underfunded at this point. We're about to be extremely financially affected by new upcoming wage laws. But we haven't gotten any sort of rate increase in years and years and years. And it's extremely important for these kind of organizations to be able to continue, for them to get increased funding from the legislature. And if you have any kind of connections, or even if you can just write letters and kind of make your wishes known, that would be really helpful and really appreciated.
Pete, that's a very important point. Politically, we have so many people who can make differences, and it's people like Peter and the people that we're going to be speaking with tonight that have a voice. And Peter, I want to thank you, sir, for your time and this wonderful interview on the Subjective Perspective show. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Hey, everybody. Hey. Yes, you can be interviewed, sir. You don't have to pay any money. No, we want you, okay? So we have Adam up. How are you? If you'd like to be interviewed, we'd love to have you. So I'm gonna get with a fella who I just got to meet not too long ago, Adam. Adam, great to meet you again, sir. Sorry.
Great to meet you.
Thank you so much for taking a moment to sit with us here at our show and network. Now, I just want to first off point out, that's Lisa of the Subjective Perspective Show, and she's the other half who does all the camera stuff. And we're very lucky, Adam, to be able to do this with you all. Do you have a film tonight by any chance?
Yes, I do.
What's the title of your film, Adam?
My title from the film is we're going to watch all the clips what we did from the film.
So you put a lot of those clips together and you edited them up?
Yeah.
How did it come out from your standpoint?
I think it came out good.
I want to double check, make sure we're still recording. I always do a double check in our production piece. Yes, we are still going. So Adam, I want to ask you, what got you into film? What is it about films that you enjoy?
I think the film for me, I made a lot of videos like the Dream Clouds.
That's cool. I dig that. If you had to pick a favorite film, what might be one of your favorite films?
I think my favorite film is like a movie, like Grease Lightning.
Like Grease Lightning?
Yes.
Like Danny Zuko?
Yeah, and his name is right after his brother, and his name is Joey Travolta.
Johnny Travolta, yeah, it is. And you know what I love about Grease Lightning is that it had one of the coolest cars ever. That car, remember when they race at the end of Grease Lightning and they're racing? I forget what they called it, but they had the one car that had the flames that spit out at the back. I thought it was a really cool piece. Why Grease Lightning? Why is that a movie that you enjoy?
Because I like it so much. I watch it, and it's fun to watch.
I think it's very fun to watch. I have a question for you, Adam, and I'm curious from your standpoint. As a filmmaker, and at this beautiful festival from Imagine this evening, do you see any difference in the way that films are now from movies in the past? Are movies in the past different from years ago than the movies nowadays?
Yeah, I think I did a movie a couple years ago, like The Wizard of Oz and Popeye.
I loved Wizard of Oz and Popeye. That's one of my favorites, actually, Adam, is Popeye. And you know which one is my favorite, actually? When Popeye was played by Robin Williams. Robin Williams passed away sadly, but he was from the San Francisco Bay Area, and Popeye was one of the best. He showed what it was to be strong and what it was to eat good food. And tonight we have great food at the festival. Adam, I want to give you a moment, sir, to let our audience know anything about you, anything you'd like to leave them with about you and your film tonight.
I think I'm good coming here to the festival, and we're gonna watch the clips what we did.
I, for one, cannot wait, Adam, to see it. What do you think? It's gonna be a fun night?
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun night.
It's already started real good. Adam, thank you for your time, sir, on the Subjective Perspective Show on the Bud and Roach Entertainment Network.
Okay.
Pleasure, sir. Thanks, Adam.
You're welcome.
You're wonderful. Let's see if anyone else would like to come on up for an interview. Good to see you, sir. Come please have a seat.
Yes, sir.
First off, great to meet you. What's your name, sir?
Sammy.
Sammy, what brings you here tonight?
Just many things to show our films that we've done at the film school, and I was one of the actors in Car Troubles.
Oh, wow. So Sammy, you were one of the actors, and now, did you make any films, or were you just an actor?
I was just the actor, and I've written I have directed some of them. I've directed a movie called Camp Nightmare.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, and it was and it was just really fun, showing, it was just really fun, showing the people, what we do in this industry. But it's just fun to see people.
And you know what, Sammy? I'm going to double check our recorder, make sure all the volumes are going all good.
Yes, sir.
Just because it's all coming out really nice on my side. We're looking awesome, sir. Sammy, you mentioned the industry.
Yeah.
And I know it's a lot. It's a lot of work making a film. It's a lot of work acting.
Yeah.
What's one of the biggest accomplishments you've had as an actor? What's one of the greatest successes?
Just basically just showing people, what we do, and I started out at the film workshop when I was 22, and I just love, showing people, what we do in this industry.
Oh man, so Sammy, 22, you started out at one of the film workshops you were saying. That's really, really cool. So what got you into film, man? What was it that got you into film? And if you want to grab the mic, feel free to grab it.
Well, I just started, what really got me into film was, just seeing different movies and, seeing a lot of people, showing different people, different films and all that. And, I love doing camera work ever since I was in high school, so.
Camera work, Sammy, me too. Do you remember back in the day, before all the smartphones, when you had a big VCR? It's different now. What's the biggest difference from the past till now? Cool glasses too.
Thank you. It's just different. I've learned to do different camera movements. I just love showing people, what I've done in this industry. So,
Yeah. And Sammy, and not to cut you off, I apologize, but I want to ask you, if you had to choose a favorite movie, one of your favorite movies of all times, what might be one of your favorite films ever?
Well, mostly documentaries about people, just mostly anything, comedy and mostly old films.
Did you see Tracy Morgan came back on one of the awards shows the other night? He was in a car accident a while back, but one of the great comedians. What is it about comedy that you enjoy?
Well, it's, because I just love old movies, from the 30s and the 40s. I just love different people showing, different people acting the way they do.
Sammy, the 30s and the 40s, that's some of the best times for film. I think it's the purest. I want to thank you first off, Sammy, and I want to give you a moment, if you could, sir, just to leave our audience. Now, everyone's going to be watching you guys because we're going to be putting this film together by tomorrow, and we'll let you know where it's at. Take a card because you can find our emails, okay? And Sammy, I'm going to give you a card.
Yes, sir.
Take one, please. And Adam, can you give one to Adam, please, hon? And you can go right there, guys. And again, we're the Subjective Perspective Show. Sammy, what would you like to let our audience know from around the planet?
Well, all you gotta do is just, all you have to do is just, all you gotta do is just show the peace, the love, and respect the people. Scene. Thank you, man.
I couldn't agree more, sir.
Yes, sir.
Pleasure, Sammy.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Sammy. A pleasure to meet you. Well, Matthew, please come sit, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we have another wonderful interview underway, and we're very excited with Matthew Shoemaker. The rock star.
I'm the kind of guy that likes to play music, and I do a lot of karaoke everywhere. I've been to Holderness, New Hampshire to do karaoke there, and I've been to Boston, Massachusetts to do karaoke there.
Oh, wow.
And I'll tell you all the places I've been. I've done some karaoke in Rhode Island, Newport, Rhode Island.
Oh, wow.
And then I went, hopefully, once upon a time I went to New York City to do karaoke. But I'm going up there again next May to do it with more people.
Oh, Matthew, that is awesome. I'm from, sorry.
That's okay.
We're from New York City. That's why I wanted to jump in.
Well, I have to have more people on this tour to do karaoke, and I may do it in Connecticut, but I'm not done with that.
That's cool.
Basically, I've done karaoke in Hightstown, New Jersey, and I've done karaoke in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and Plymouth Meeting, Pennsylvania, and I've been doing all these interviews, and this interview is one of them. And I've been do karaoke in Osceola, Wisconsin, and karaoke in Chicago, Illinois.
That's cool. Chicago's a cool town.
I was a little sick, but I was still able to pull it together anyway. And I did some karaoke, hopefully in St. Paul, Minnesota.
St. Paul is a very nice area up north.
Close to Minneapolis, as the Twin Cities.
Yes.
I've done karaoke in Reno, Nevada, and I did karaoke in Portland, Oregon, and many.
Wow.
This is like Lafayette, California, and many places in California and places like that.
Matthew, can I ask you, sir? I want to double check, make sure my audio is looking really good, and we're looking awesome. That shows us that it's moving along very well. So we are recording. Matthew, what brings you to Imagine Film Festival this evening, sir?
Well, I seem to like it a lot at the moment, and I seem to get all these girls because I'm like a rock star in a way, but
nothing wrong with being a rock star, sir. Nothing wrong with that at all.
No, I understand that, and I've had a few friends like Thomas Dawson. He's a close friend of mine. Helps me out, and many other friends help me out.
Now, did you make any films this evening?
Films of what?
Were you a filmmaker of the evening, or are you going to watch the films tonight?
I basically was a filmmaker a long time ago, and what I did basically for my interview was I made some DVDs in the old days, made Matthew Shoemaker T-shirts, Matthew Shoemaker CDs that are down at Streetlight Records. They used to have a Streetlight Records.
Oh, on Pacific, Streetlight on Pacific. That's a great shop.
And I had Matthew Shoemaker CDs in Streetlight San Francisco, and that's now closed down, so I'm going to go to San Jose and deliver them there.
That's cool. Matthew, just curious, if you had to choose a favorite film, what would be one of your favorite movies of all time?
Well, anything kind of one like Toy Story. Beethoven is kind of a good film.
That's a great film, Beethoven. Toy Story, Buzz Lightyear. Buzz Lightyear was really good in that one. And what I liked about it is that it had a really positive message. I think movies are important when they have a good message. What do you think about that? Is it important to have a good message in a movie?
They're fucking cool, I have to tell you.
Thank you, sir, for that.
Yeah. But yeah, they're awesome if you think if you know what I'm saying. Films of other music like the Beatles or any other artists, they're good.
Yeah, totally. The Beatles, one of my favorites all time. Now, how many Beatles are left? We have Paul McCartney's alive, and we have Ringo Starr, whose real name is Richard Starkey. I learned about that a couple of years ago. I didn't know about that, Matthew. About 5 years ago, someone told me that. But I want to ask you, and we have a worldwide audience.
Okay, that's cool.
What do you want the audience to know about Imagine? What is it about Imagine that brings people together?
That everybody thinks people are cool like me.
You are cool, sir. And we think that this is cool. We're with you.
And I've went out to Delaware, not lately. I've did some karaoke in Newark, Delaware, and hopefully I brought out some sandals.
That's Sandals Resort?
Sandals of women, sandals and men.
Oh, Sandals, I see. There's a hotel called Sandals, too. I thought you might have been doing it there.
That's pretty cool. But I have to tell you something. Delaware T-shirts are cheap, and some of them from other places are expensive. But, yeah. Hopefully,
That's interesting.
Hopefully, so far, what I've been making are some posters and putting them up places where I'm going.
Cool. That's a good idea. Matthew, what I want to do, because soon enough the films are going to be going, and we got to watch our films. But I want to give you a moment to leave our audience with a message from what they want Matthew Shoemaker to know.
Well, that I'm an awesome person and I try to do my best at singing. And yeah, I feel thankful. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. This has been an absolute pleasure for me, Matthew. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Matthew Shoemaker. This is the Subjective Perspective Show on the Bud and Roach Entertainment Network. Just like that. Is that cool, Toby? Yeah, that's cool. That works out well. Hey, everybody. This is Toby.
Hi.
And we're having a great time tonight at the Imagine Film Festival.
That's
now,
right
we
here.
already got... Hey, what's up? We got some love already. Good to see you. One of my students had just gave some love. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning on in. Well, we're having a great time tonight, everybody, at the Imagine Film Festival. And I want to thank you all for staying linked. And right now, I'm just double checking my audio. Audio's rolling, so I'm good. We have Toby with us tonight, and Toby is one of the major filmmakers that I saw come out of Imagine. I saw you do some great interviews with politicians, if I'm right. Who did you do that interview with, Toby?
Well, I've been interviewing a lot of people down in Sacramento, out through San Andreas Regional Center, through our other states or California, stuff like that. And it takes like a bunch of million people out in the world, and they can see things and measure the budget, like budget cuts, something like that.
Big time. Are budget cuts affecting Imagine by any chance?
Of course it is. It's really affecting everyone, including the people around the whole state and the Senate, and we're helping out the senators like Belmonte.
I saw that interview you did. That was amazing. Hey, Toby, what is it about film? Just to sort of touch base with the beginning of your filmmaking career. What got you into film?
Well, I quitted it myself, and I wanted to make sure people can watch the film with me in it, with advocacy in the part disability and dependable, for mixing all of this work. The film's going to be showing a lot of different people are part our senators and part our day programs, other programs out there. So that's how I made the films I made so far. It's a lot of them you guys can see.
And they're amazing, Toby. I've seen a couple. And what I think is so brilliant of you is that you have confidence to speak to senators. Millions of people don't find it within themselves to be able to speak to people in that authority. What is it about you, Toby, that allowed you to say, you know what? I'm going to speak to the senator. I don't care if it's a senator. And I'm going to ask these questions. And I want to get some good, feedback. How did you gain that confidence in life?
Well, it's important to me because I keep confident in myself, like showing them how I expect them and see them in positive or different things I see in the world. So my life is wonderful, my home. I like the way I'm active and part disability and I'm part Down syndrome. That's the ability for me to learn things like Down syndrome will always do. So it's pretty easy for me to stay focused on task.
That's so awesome. And, I always have a question about that word disability. What do you think about that word? Does that word even have a relevance? Is there any such thing as a disability?
Yeah, some part of it does, and some people don't think about it too much about it, because it's really important to have our community membership media, because that word disability is some people like the whole world,
I understand it. And Toby, I think about it, there's a lot of people in this world that can learn from filmmakers like yourself. What is it, with people today? Do you think people are becoming more united, or are people becoming more stuck in their own lives of materialism?
Well, they're part of my biggest fans, and they're my see people on carpet, and I see the more confidence they have. I wish them to be one of my stars.
You know what? I got to ask you, Toby, what is it about now the film? You made a film for tonight?
Yes, I did. I made a film tonight with it's called me and Doug were interviewing at the Hope program and I tell them what was more important about the festival it's going to be. And I tell them that why it's more important, why keep all the film festival to be here, to be honored to be here.
I agree. I mean, this is an honor for me, Toby, to sit with you, sir. Now, for people that are checking us out, and I know we have a couple people that are linking up to us on Periscope, you know, Toby's a great filmmaker, and he's been doing this. Now, how long have you been doing film for?
I did this film like a whole hour film with my manager, Mike Nichols, to help me to join the film because it's going to be great. It's been like at least a whole hour and get it ready for the festival to see it. Did you start films when you were young, or is it new in your life? Actually, I started it since I first came out, since I growing up.
If I had to ask you, what's one of your favorite films, Toby? If you had a favorite film, what's one of your favorites?
My favorite one is our Sacramento and the San Jose films.
What is it about those films? Why?
Because they're more important to me to keep and to help other people like me and part our overall too.
You know, we have a beautiful world out there, don't we, sir?
Yes, we do.
What's the trick to keeping it beautiful?
The trips are beautiful, are wonderful here, and they've been nice sunny out, nice and greasy and cool, and people can watch.
And people could see the incredible films tonight. Toby, I want to give you a couple moments, sir. Can you leave the audience with a bit of what you want them to know about Imagine and what you do with film?
Well, because I imagine these people here imagine the other peoples, and they have stars inside of them. And magic is like when you have imagination in.
And I've heard it once said that imagination is more important than knowledge. Imagination is everything. Toby, I can't thank you enough for your time. You are an incredible filmmaker, and you're an incredible individual. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Toby at the Imagine Santa Cruz Film Festival, and we're having a great time. Toby, honestly, thank you so much.
You're quite welcome.
You are wonderful. I can't wait to watch your film tonight.
Thank you.
I'll see you in a bit. Now, I'm not sure, would you like to do an interview? Yeah. Oh, good. Thanks, Toby, man. Pleasure, Toby. Good to see you, sir.
Yeah, too.
My name is Nick. What's your name?
Oh, Kanan.
Kanan, it's a pleasure to meet you. Well, Kanan, right now, we have the video cameras going, and this is my microphone, Kanan. So I just am going to look to make sure we're rolling. We are going right now.
Oh, okay.
So we're actually recording, and tomorrow, actually later on, in post-production, I'm going to edit all this together. But I want to ask you, Kanan, what brought you here tonight?
Well, I'm here for this event, the Imagine Film Festival, because I did this from last year, because I was here for the same year.
Now, Imagine is a very, very special place. And I want to ask you, what is it about Imagine that sticks out to you?
When it comes to me, Imagine, well, I've been a part of this because I know the disparities, because I've done this before, because I've been in this from everyone I've been in before.
And Kanan, what is it about film? Do you have a film tonight? Did you make a film tonight?
Actually, yes. It's one of the ones for Sacramento.
I cannot wait to see that in a little bit, Kanan. What is it about your film? What made you want to make it?
Well, how make it? Well, I done with our boss for our program for home services. His name is Mike. I do any films with them because I've been interviewing the senators and then the Senate members.
Oh gosh, now, Kanan, my question I gotta ask is, how long have you been filmmaking for?
Well, how long time? Well, I've been doing this for a long time. I do classes from editing for work because I done this because I go to the whole program every time from every week.
That is so wonderful, and I know it's a wonderful place, Kanan. Kanan, if I could ask you, and I think about how wonderful the world is. It's a beautiful world we live in. What is it about the world that that you really enjoy?
The one I enjoy, well, I've been to, I mean, for myself, I've been doing, because I've been to the, I like any event that I like in the world.
Yeah, and, you know, Cannon, when did you, now filmmaking, did you start doing that a long time ago?
Actually, I done it over the past.
So, what is it? If I had to ask you, what was one of your favorite movies ever? What's one of your favorite movies, Kanan?
Well, I've seen a few before. I saw Ant-Man and Magic Mike SSL and the Classic World.
That sounds like a really good one. I dig that. And you know what? You know what I really enjoy? I enjoy good cartoon movies that have a good message. I want to ask you, Kanan, what is it? Is it important to have a positive message in a movie?
In a movie, well, I message in movies because I'm a movie critic.
Ah, so you're a movie critic, so you love to watch movies and you like to talk about them. You know, Kanan, tonight is a really nice night here at the film festival.
It is.
For everybody that's watching us right now, what do you want them to know about Imagine? As we could give a couple last words before we go watch our film soon, because it's almost 7:30 for the films to start. What is it about Imagine that you really enjoy?
Well, Imagine I enjoy, well, I've been there for what I see before, actually in one of those films I am coming here because I know friends, like, I'm a friend, Doug Passover, Wyatt Cooney, and my sister's friend, Harry Quinn, Harry Flowers.
That is so wonderful, Kanan. You have a lot of great friends here, and I want to say we are lucky and we are grateful that you interviewed with us. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Welcome.
And it was a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, for me and you.
Have a great night at the beautiful film festival tonight, Kanan. Nice job, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Kanan, the Subjective Perspective Show. I love doing this. Have a beautiful night. We'll see you in there.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks, Kanan. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for staying linked to www.buttonroach.com. And remember to share our network with everybody you know. Make us a household name and share in the great joy of rocking consciousness that we take pride in here at the Subjective Perspective Show and the Button Roach Entertainment Network. Ladies and gentlemen, as you already know, the Button Roach Entertainment Network reaches all corners of planet Earth, and we can't thank you all enough for your unwavering support with everything we've been doing for the last nearly 4 years on air. Continue to make Button Roach Entertainment a household name and stay linked. tsp.buttonroach.com. Both cameras rolling. Jacob, first off, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to speak with us on the Subjective Perspective Show on the Button Roach Entertainment Network. Now, Jacob, I want to start off by asking you, what are you doing here on this fine evening?
I'm here for a premiere of my movie, Brittany Reynolds' Ultimate Obliterationator, which I directed and wrote.
Now, what was it about this movie, Jacob? Why did you choose to create a movie like this?
Well, Brittany Reynolds, it was inspired by a lot of these. There's a lack of female superheroes or main characters, and I have some issues of how the ending turned out in terms of what my vision was versus a final product, but I'm hoping this is just going to be experience, a big jumping point. That's all this is just a jumping point for when I do eventually move on to bigger things, hopefully indefinitely, because it's my dream to tell great stories.
And you're doing it, Jacob. I can't wait to see your film. What is it about stories? What is it about great stories that are important to tell?
Well, I like creativity. I mean, like Escape from New York or Repo Man from the 80s. Those were great movies.
Great movies.
Or Fight Club. I like a movie that's inventive and can keep you invested. Like Barton Fink was very inventive with on a visual level. The cinematography by Roger Deakins still stands out. And you know, even if a movie's story is kind of hard to follow, as long as there's some aspect of it that can keep me invested throughout, then I can work with it. And that's what I want to give our audiences, is just a memorable experience they'll be able to talk about decades from now. That's my dream there.
And, you know, what is it, if I had to ask you, Jacob, Movies of the past. Now, I think about the 1980s. Were there any films that you liked from the 1980s by any chance?
I already told you a couple, like Repo Man and
That's true.
and Escape from New York. Another one I really enjoyed. I'm trying to think. I really enjoyed The Last Emperor from Bernardo Bertolucci.
Yes.
That was one of my all-time favorite movies. I have not seen it in years, but it was one of the movies that made me want to direct, made me want to become a filmmaker. Number one movie that made me want to become a director is Seconds from John Frankenheimer.
Oh.
The cinematography in that movie, that was from 1966 of Rock Hudson. I had never seen anything like it. I was 13 years old, I think, and I cried so hard after that movie. It blew me away. And I want to be able to, if I could have one of my movies be a film baptismal experience for people the same way E.T. is for a lot of people I hear, or
Yes.
just like kind of movie that would make people want to make movies. Like Citizen Kane had that influence on a lot of people also before E.T., like 41 years before it.
Yes. You know your movies, Jacob. And this is an honor to talk to you about this because I'm not as savvy when it comes to films, but I do know a couple. But I appreciate this big time. I want to ask you about one director from the 1980s. And I'm not sure if you would know this gentleman. I believe he did The Breakfast Club. I could be wrong.
John Hughes.
Thank you.
He also
Thank
did
you.
Pink, and
Yes.
he did Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, which was a great
John
movie.
Candy.
John Candy, Steve Martin, 16 Candles he wrote and directed, yeah. And he wrote, but he did not direct. Howard Douche directed.
Okay.
He directed this one called Pretty in Pink. Pretty in Pink he wrote.
Molly Ringwald?
John Hughes. Molly Ringwald, John Cryer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Young John Cryer, way before 2.5 Men. Yeah.
You're very young. Hey, did you ever see the movie Can't Buy Me Love? With Patrick
I have not.
Dempsey.
I did not see that, but I've heard of it, and I know about it only because Amanda Peterson, who was the star of it, died young, sadly.
Oh,
47 years old.
You're right with that. We were talking about that, Lisa, and that's Lisa with the camera work, Jacob.
Yep.
And we were talking about that the other night. What was it, alcohol or something? She got involved with something wrong, which is why it's important, everybody, to stay on the natural side of life. And keep yourself, eating good foods, too. Watch out for the GMOs. We talk about that a lot on our shows.
Yeah,
not to go deep into it.
That's a good advice. Yeah, my dad's huge on that. No GMOs. Yeah.
That's good to know, too, for me.
Yeah, I also really like some other movies I enjoy. My number one favorite movie is AI, Artificial Intelligence, because it moved me so much. Just the experience. I cried multiple times in that movie. I also cried a lot in Titanic, and I don't cry very hard. I'm not an easy crier, but and if you can give me something that's powerful or just that feels real in the moment, without James Horner's music, I honestly don't think I would have had the same experience of Titanic. Whereas AI was just such everything kind of movie.
Jacob, I want to ask you. Now we have a couple more interviews, and we have the film's going to be starting soon. So only for sake of time, we'll start to wind this interview down. But this has been an absolute joy, sir. Okay, I had two questions. Let me ask this first question. Okay, the reason I mentioned the John Hughes films was because there was so much content and there was such a message, a positive message. I want to ask you, you know your stuff with films, and I think the world can learn from you. We have a worldwide audience, Jacob, so they're going to be checking this out.
Did you give it to everyone?
Oh, everyone's going to be checking this out. Well, I'll let you know where you can see this, okay? It's going to be on the internet 24/7. What do you see the difference to be between the 1980s, the John Hughes type films, between films of nowadays? Is there a difference from your standpoint?
I don't see much of a difference in terms of the films themselves, but I just think it all depends on the individual movie. It's depends, the audiences change, people evolve over time. But Breakfast Club is just as timeless, I would argue, as Mean Girls is, in terms of the characters, and Mean Girls' way it analyzes hierarchies. It could be used as a political allegory, honestly. For Regina George's, you get taken down. I've always said what The Godfather is to the gangster genre, Mean Girls is to teen comedy genre.
That's great.
I've always believed that.
Right on, that's what's up. And you know what? I have a pal of mine. Have you ever heard of a movie called The Manchurian Candidate?
Oh yeah, I liked the original, but the Denzel Washington one was way too convoluted.
I would have to agree with that.
Yeah.
My buddy did the soundtrack for the original Manchurian Candidate.
Really?
David Amram. And he's one of the last living Beat Generation members. And City Lights Bookstore up in North Beach in California, up in San Francisco.
Jerry Goldsmith composed the score for Manchurian Candidate originally. Did you know Jerry Goldsmith?
I'm sure he did.
Yeah, Jerry Goldsmith's one of my I don't want to become a composer, but I loved his score for Total Recall. I felt it was just so perfect, and it's one of the few movie scores I actually will go out of my way to look up on YouTube in my free time just to listen to it.
And now, Jacob, you got me thinking if Dave did the 1960s one or if he did the one with Denzel. I got to double check. We had Dave on the show. Fascinating interview. Just as fascinating as this one. Jacob, I want to ask you one more last question, sir. You know, what brought you, well, not what brought you here, but what is it about Imagine that you want to leave our audience knowing that is so special about what they do here?
I want to leave them knowing they can accomplish anything. If you'd asked me when I was 16 if I thought I could accomplish my dreams of being a great filmmaker, being able to inspire others with great stories, or being able to create great characters, let alone great female characters like I want to create with Brittany Reynolds and just so many others beyond that in my career. This is a starting point for me, and I want others to believe that they can accomplish their own starting point if they need to have a will to get there. They just need to have a will, they need to have a drive, and as cliched as it sounds, just follow your dreams. I know it's cliche, but it's so true. Just go to do research for film schools. There are people out there like Catherine right in front of me, or people like at this film school like Hester or Joey Travolta or Will Sanford that are going out of their way to devote their lives to people like me who don't understand or process things as well, just automatically, just compared to others, just differently. I wouldn't even say don't process them as well. We just understand things differently sometimes. I have Asperger's syndrome personally, so sometimes it's been a struggle to understand or social cues or things or events, and I know you want to wrap things up here, but I'm just...
No, I'm digging it, man.
Yeah, I'm just grateful for this opportunity, this experience, and for people to see my work and all the effort I put into it. And I hope they like it.
Jacob, I want to tell you, man, it's people like you that inspire me, brother. And I can't thank you enough for sharing your time with the Subjective Perspective Show on the Button Roach Entertainment Network.
Thank you, good sir.
It's been an absolute joy. Ladies and gentlemen, that's called going to school.
Yep.
You just learned a couple things, didn't y'all? Hi, sir. Would you like to interview? Oh, good. Please come on, sit. Jacob, a pleasure.
It was
a pleasure.
Indeed.
We'll talk more.
Can I take this?
Yes, sir, please. I'm sorry. I should have brought more.
Thank you so much.
I apologize about that.
It's cool, man. Have a great day.
Yeah, later, Jake. We'll see you, brother.
Later, man.
This is John Tucker. He wrote Car Troubles.
John, it's a pleasure to meet you, sir. Let me make sure that my audio is going. Now, this is going to be our microphone, John, the smartphone device. It makes it a little more handy. It's a little more compact, and we're rolling. Video check. Sir, what's your name? I know your name, but just to start out on our interview formally, what is your name?
John Tokarek.
John, what brings you here this evening, sir?
Well, I wrote Car Troubles, even though I handed it over to Ellis Gregg. There was a lot of constraints, and to be honest, I wanted for it to go on longer, and elaborate on that girl at the ending was hiding in the trunk, and she wasn't the ghost. She was hiding in the trunk from this psycho boyfriend, and she manages to, after the initial startlement, says, "Hey, I'm not a ghost. I'm running from my boyfriend, and he's right behind me." And then they fight off the psycho boyfriend, and it had this big fight, and they end up dousing him more than once and just conking him unconscious or something.
Now, John, I gotta ask you, what got you into film? Were you a filmmaker early on many years ago, or is it more recent? What got you into this?
I think, to be honest, it was pure chance. It was pure luck. Otherwise, I would probably had a different dream. Like I remember literally, I had a dream about the first time I came here.
Get out of here.
I literally had like a 2-second snapshot before I got interrupted in a dream by another part of a dream. Literally.
Did the dream come true, though? Like, when you dreamt it, did it actually happen when you were living it?
Yes, I could literally feel the sea breeze and everything. It was intense.
That's so interesting. Just to go for dreams for a moment. Are dreams powerful? And what should people know about dreams? Should they follow their dreams?
Well, I'd say be careful. be very careful because those dreams are purely subjective and not everybody cares about them. Other times, it might turn out to be a self-fulfilling prophecy, so you might as well be careful. And you have no idea of what happens in between.
That's the crazy part of it, isn't it?
Yeah, that
it's like it's all just throwing life to faith, saying hopefully it works out.
Hopefully. Other times it may come true and you may not exactly like it.
John, I just want to ask you about the film that you made. What is one of your favorite parts of this film?
I think it has. It might have been the fact that. Well, okay. To be honest, I have no idea what I was thinking. But at the ending, where it's like you tried that already, that actually what I felt was a more appropriate ending and kind of like a poke in one of my my then classmates
That's cool.
side, kind of like a poke.
That's cool. That's a little rib. And you got to do that once in a while. Yeah. John, I want to ask you, sir, for sake of time, because I know the films are starting probably momentarily, what is it that you want our audience to know from around the planet about Imagine? And what makes it so great?
Well, if it wasn't for Imagine, I wouldn't be here. I would not have been able to make these films. I would probably be unhappy at home and several pounds heavier.
Well, let me tell you, we couldn't be any more honored to have you, John. And I can't wait to watch your film in a little bit. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to leave us with John. And John, what was your last name again, sir?
Tokarek.
Tokarek. Did I pronounce it right? I apologize if not.
Yes, you pronounced it right.
Thank you.
Sounds like towing the car wreck.
That's great. Ladies and gentlemen, from the Subjective Perspective Show, we have John, who has been one of the most important filmmakers of this evening at the Santa Cruz Museum of Art and History. Thank you, my fine sir. Great job.
And a Hall of Fame peppers tasted pretty good.
That was great, man. A pleasure.
Of Car Troubles, but actually have the director of Car Troubles, Alex Gregg.
Thanks, John. Alex, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Please sit.
Knock 'em dead.
Okay.
John, you're a pleasure. Hey, kiddos. Oh, Alex, you're awesome.
Thank you so
Great
much.
jacket, too. Let me make sure. No, this is going to be the microphone.
Okay.
It's a little more compact rather than bringing the whole setup, the whole shebang.
Yeah, this is good enough.
And we're going to do a nice post-production. We're going to edit the videos together so you're going to have a couple angles. It'll be looking awesome. Well, and this is Periscope. You know what? Before I start,
Actually pretty cool.
this is actually... Have you ever heard of Periscope? Check this out. We just had 31 people watching.
Oh, nice.
This is a new app, Alex. And let me show you what it is, my brother. So the app looks like this. Okay, it's called Periscope. Like, I think a submarine has a periscope where they like shoot something lugs. So this, the reason they call it that is because this brings audiences from around the world. We've been using this for like about the past 6 months, building our fan base. And Alex, we have a worldwide fan base, and we're very honored to do this.
Thank
It's
you so
awesome.
much.
Let me pop this up really quick, and I'm going to say, interview with director Alex at Santa Cruz. These are the titles, so when people go to it, they'll be able to link right into it right now. Santa Cruz Museum.
Oh, is that this?
The Museum of Art and History.
It's kind of hard to see the title.
Yeah, you totally.
Yeah.
What a set. I'm so excited right now, though. This
Yeah.
set is gorgeous.
Yeah.
So now this is how it goes out. So I'm going to start off with you so to see you. Okay. So now, this is, and that's Lisa. That's my other half who does all the filming and all the audio.
I didn't catch your name.
I'm Nick, Alex. I'm so sorry, sir. I apologize.
Oh, don't worry about it.
I'm sorry, Alex.
Oh, don't worry about it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Subjective Perspective Show. And I just want to show you where we are. As you can see, we have a beautiful environment here. And this is the Museum of Art and History in Santa Cruz. And I'll put it right down there, Al. Yeah. Now, Alex, let me double check my audio mic. Make sure that's going. It is. Okay.
Cool.
What an honor to have you. And make sure video check looking all good, sweets. I always got to double check that because as we get into a good interview, I don't want to miss any of the good stuff.
You can never check it too much.
Exactly. Alex, first off, sir, I know what brought you here, but can you let our audience know what brings you to the Imagine Film Festival this evening, sir?
Well, I wanted to see what other works that other people provided, not just our own department, but what other departments brought as well. So far, I've seen some pretty good work. There was like a video I saw recently about this guy who has Down syndrome, and he was just interacting with people in a very unusual way. And it's like I view it as normal, but I could see like why other people would not view it as normal. And I think it's showcasing that we should view it in a more normal way, that there are more people who aren't as we should view neurotypicals or in a more normal way.
I couldn't agree with you more, Alex.
Yeah.
I think it's sad that to ever marginalize anybody. And you know we live in a country, sadly, that's marginalized people based upon race, based upon religion, based upon whatever differences we have amongst one another. And I think that it's important to get that message out that you just said eloquently too, sir. Now, I know that personally, because we got to talk before we got on camera, that you're a director also, aren't you, sir?
Yes, I am.
What was the film that you created this evening?
The film I created this evening was called Car Troubles. It is a spoof of the Three Stooges, except that the roles are mixed up with the names. Moe's the one that gets beat up all the time, and Curly is the one that's doing all the bowling and stuff. And
That's cool.
I forget what Larry was originally supposed to be, but he was just supposed to be like the not so smart sidekick, and he would just grab random tools. It's like a really, really silly take on the Three Stooges, as if it weren't silly enough.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it really was super silly, and that's what made it so beautiful. Why the Three Stooges, Alex? Why? What was it about that you wanted to extrapolate on, evolve?
I wanted to see if I wanted to make goofy humor even goofier.
Interesting.
Yeah, I really wanted to... it's like whenever I make films, I don't want to be super serious at times. In fact, I'm a very silly person in general.
Likewise.
I just want to display my weirdness in whatever way possible. And if it turns out to be very weird, then so be it. I mean, that's kind of
even better.
The point.
That's kind of the whole point. I'm sorry, let me take the mic away.
Oh, don't worry about it.
Well, I like the saying for Portland, keep Portland weird. That's one of the little monikers.
Is that what the city is?
No, we're actually out of Santa Cruz. For all of our audience that listens in, Lisa and I, we grew up in New York City area.
Oh, nice.
So we grew up in Long Island, New York, Alex.
Okay.
About 5.5 years ago, we drove across America with no place to live. Just had a dream, because it was tough, making a living out in the working class portions of the Northeast. Yeah. I want to ask you, Alex, film is really a reaction to society, the goofiness. Do you have a political side at all?
My political side is not too strong. Whenever I try and get into politics, I don't do it to support one side or the other. It's just to strengthen one's common sense. I do, in short, I'm not a supporter of politics, rather more common sense. So whenever I hear stuff from religion or politics, I just try to apply it to my own common sense and not say that a certain party is wrong because I really don't have the facts. I can't really say whether being a Democrat is wrong or whether being a Republican or independent is wrong or being this religion is wrong. It's just, there's so many variables that it would just overwhelm me to explore them all. Common sense, I think, is the easiest way to live. Just apply common sense to pretty much all your life, and the rest you can figure out.
What is it in today's world, Alex? Where'd the common sense go?
I think you can get it anywhere. I mean, it comes from you, really, and what you can learn from other people. And
pardon me, I apologize.
What other mistakes people make are the mistakes that you make. Whatever you do wrong, you can actually learn from it.
The world is a beautiful place to live, Alex. And there's a lot going on. Even when you look at the news, there's a lot of hardships out there, a lot of hard times. But I want to ask you, what is it about this life that inspires you?
Just life in general. People inspire me. Just hearing these different ideas that people like to share.
I have an idea to share with you in a second. I think you're going to dig it.
Okay. Just listening to people's stories and then coming up with your own arguments, or I think arguing with people in a in a professional way is pretty good. It gets the conversation going.
Productive.
But
yeah,
that there's a difference between that and just starting fights with people. Which,
big time.
No, you don't want to start fights. Just start fights. Like,
no bueno. Do not start fights. We don't think that. Alex, check this out. We have a friend. His name's Alex Polinsky.
okay.
Now, back in the 80s, he was a star of a television show called Charles in Charge, which was a great 80s sitcom. Don't know if you remember Charles in Charge.
I was born in the 90s.
Yeah, so I was going to say just a little before the time. Awesome sitcom from the 80s, Alex.
Okay.
But he brought forth this idea, which I think you're going to really dig, called avatarism.
Avatar.
Okay, so no, avatarism is this notion that we can control our life like a video game. Now, have you ever played SimCity? Or do you know of it?
I played it when I was in middle school. Usually, I was very mean to my Sims. I love displaying dark humor in games when I can.
Yeah, that's cool.
I don't want to provide Sims with a happy life. You're playing a game. You want to have fun with it.
Totally, man.
Like when you're playing a game, you want to get as far away from reality as possible.
I think that's such a brilliant idea. That really is why people play the games, to escape in many ways.
Imagine playing Grand Theft Auto 5 where you're just driving and not harming anyone. It's not fun.
They wouldn't call it Grand Theft Auto. They would call it Cruz and Theft Auto. They wouldn't even call it theft. They'd be like, this is just a nice little game.
Yeah.
And we're not going to have any of the crazy stuff in this one, I tell you. But I'm sorry, yeah.
Oh,
I was going to say, I apologize. I got into the Grand Theft Auto. I was trying to make a really funny remark. It wasn't as funny as I hoped it would be, but I think we still got a kick out of it. Alex Polinsky, avatarism.
Yes.
So he suggests, and he's a fascinating gentleman, which is why I wanted to share this with you,
Okay.
that to reduce recidivism rate in prisons, okay, so, you know, it's sad to see people in prison. Sadly, we have 2 million people in prison in America, one of the most people in prison than any other nation in this hemisphere, I think, on the planet. And he says that if individuals can realize that they can take control of their reality, sort of like Sims, okay? Yeah. Like, you know, with Sims, like, you build up your energy, your food, you build up, you know, you can work out, you can do all that stuff. Yeah. That if we look at our life in that context, that maybe it'll be a bit more manageable for people who may have been, how would I say it, Alex? Not demonized from society, ostracized from society in the prison systems.
Yeah, I think anyone deserves the chance to have respect. I still believe that there should be safety stuff still for prisoners, like safety protocol, but they're in prison, they're serving their punishment. Like, yeah, they may have done some horrible crimes, but why need to punish them any further? It's just like, yeah, they might be getting the worst sentence of their life. Why insult them any further? They're serving their time. Just let them live. Like, let them be them.
Alex Gregg, director of Car Troubles, here at the Subjective Perspective Show on the Bud and Roach Entertainment Network. Stay linked to www.budandroach.com, tsp.budandroach.com, and support real artists. Alex Gregg, one of the greatest filmmakers coming out of the Santa Cruz area of the South Bay area of California.
Thank you so much.
This has been an honor, sir. What a joy.
Thank you.
That's how we roll, everybody.